I think the young people will rediscover it, will find that it's a very good thing, and they will assure that beautiful handwriting, in all its many blessings, shall long endure.
This is the first public monument in American history, let alone in the United States, to celebrate and honor Platt Rogers Spencer and our American heritage of penmanship, which is unique among all nations. It's the most beautiful cursive style that was ever invented. It's something that we all owe a great deal to. And it all started right here in Geneva. And you should all take a great deal of pride in that. The Spencerian Monument for American Handwriting is really the fruition of a dream that was started over 130 years ago by Spencer's children and his students. They wanted to commemorate him and all he did. The location itself is the most historic location in Geneva. It's on the grounds of the building that today is the courthouse for Geneva, but in 1910 it was dedicated as the new Free Library of Geneva, the first official library building for the town of Geneva. Platt Rogers Spencer started the first free library in Geneva in 1838, so it was natural that we would try and do this in an area that was near and dear to him and his efforts during his lifetime. This is where Spencer lived. He's buried in Geneva. This is the birthplace of American handwriting. He became involved with handwriting as a young boy by putting a stick in the sand right here on Lake Erie and drawing traces of letters in the sand. His models for his handwriting were the water-worn beach pebbles right here on the beach. He developed the first system of handwriting in our country that followed the English scripts that were used during the 18th century by our founding fathers. Platt Rogers Spencer developed a form of handwriting that was based on the concepts of nature, of movement, curvature, variability, and contrast. And that made it easier for people to write. It made writing itself more beautiful, and it encouraged people to learn how to read as well as to write. On behalf of the Spencerian Saga Workshop Program and everybody who is a student of Spencer and everybody here, we would like to present you and the city with this portrait of Platt Rogers Spencer, and we hope that it'll find a place of honor inside the courthouse.
This truly is a glorious day, and what a beautiful portrait, and it will have a place of honor inside the newly rehabbed Geneva Free Library, which is now the Western County Court above the fireplace, and we would invite everybody to come in and view that at some point here after we get it displayed. Again, we'd like to thank all the Spencerian people for what they've done, and it truly is a great day in Geneva.
So today, along with all of you, we at Zaner Blosser are proud to honor Platt R. Spencer, whose Spencerian penmanship system, in the words of his student, President Garfield, quote, is the foundation of instruction in that art in all the public schools of our country, end quote. We are honored to continue the tradition of Spencerian penmanship with our Zaner Blosser handwriting curriculum, the most widely adopted handwriting program in the nation today. In addition, we appreciate the work of Michael Sull, our Zaner Blosser master penman. In that role, Michael brings to our company a wealth of knowledge and a passion for our mission, a mission that was founded by Mr. Zaner and is deeply rooted in the beliefs of Mr. Spencer. We respect all that Michael has done over the years to uphold the legacy of Spencer. We especially admire his tireless efforts to not only cultivate an understanding of Spencer, but also promote his significance in our nation's history. Michael's efforts were instrumental in bringing about this monument and this moment. Today, because of his efforts and the efforts of this great community, we are honoring the legacy of a very important figure in American history. It humbles us at Zaner Blosser to follow in the footsteps of Spencer, the man who taught America to write. It is a role that we take very seriously, and to that end we held a first-of-its-kind national summit on handwriting this past January in Washington, D.C. And at this time I invite Kathleen Wright, our National Director for Handwriting, to share with you the details of this important meeting, as you all need to be aware of the current state of handwriting in our nation's schools.
Thank you, Brad. Charles Zaner once said, "We live long only in the memory of men and women. We are remembered only as we have moved men and women. We move only to the extent that we are moved by our conviction, and conviction is character expressed in action. As represented by those of us gathered here today, Platt Rogers Spencer's legacy has moved generations, and with our conviction will continue on throughout the 21st century. Thank you."
Platt Spencer was, he was actually the person that would have made it possible for us to be in business today. I mean, he is the one who started handwriting as we see it in America, and trained so many people, and started such a movement that it captured the interests of many people and brought them in off the farms to learn penmanship and calligraphy, or actually business writing at the time, which is where Charles Zaner and Elmer Blosser began, with a college of penmanship. And without that, there would not be a Zaner Blosser company today. As a teacher, he would be proud to know that his students had carried on what he taught, and that they had passed on his passion for handwriting and his understanding of the importance of handwriting instruction, and that they had successfully carried that on through, over 100 years of education. To have such a passionate group of advocates for handwriting 125 or 130 years after you've been around, it says a lot for your legacy.
The second teacher I would like to recognize personally is my teacher, my mentor, and one of my dearest friends, who is Michael Sull. He will not come up here and take credit for any of this, and he rightly wants the day to be about Platt Rogers Spencer. But truthfully, there is not a single one of us who would be standing here today if it were not for Michael Sull. Not one. He individually brought back the interest in Spencerian lettering and spread it not only nationally, but internationally. He has been to Japan to teach Spencerian. He's been to Italy to teach Spencerian. There are now students in Russia, Iceland, Argentina, all over the world studying Spencerian lettering. And it all goes back to Michael Sull. So I think we owe him a real round of applause. The third thing I'd like to do is talk about the Platt Rogers Spencer Elementary School. How incredible to have that as your namesake. Because we are out here for 2 weeks every year doing the saga, I would like to offer my personal services and those of some of the students to come out and show the students what Spencerian lettering is, with a quill, with dip pens, so that they can see it inked to paper. A plaque about Platt Rogers Spencer that's a duplicate of the plaque here, so that in passing in the hallway the kids can learn some of the history of what he is, what he did, what he brought to their area where they're still growing up, and get to see some of the beauty in the lettering.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. This is just beautiful. And I don't know if you know, people that are visiting us today, that thanks to Michael, the sign that hangs directly above the door of our school, and it is engraved into the sandstone, is Geneva Platt R. Spencer Elementary School, done in Spencerian penmanship because of Michael. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Dr. Zipatone.
Good afternoon. As Mike said, I'm here today on behalf of the International Association of Master Penmen, Engrossers, and Teachers of Handwriting. IAMPETH, as it's better known, is celebrating 63 years of preserving the arts of calligraphy, engrossing, and fine penmanship through instruction and preservation of original artwork. Our greatest resource is our website, through which people all over the world can view scans of the pieces, as well as out-of-print instruction books and videos to assist in their learning process. To see just how much of an impact Platt Rogers Spencer has had on our members worldwide, one need only type in the name Spencer to find over 150 results that reference his name on our website alone. Our yearly conventions offer classes in both beginner and advanced Spencerian writing, and our archives are filled with pieces that just beg you to take a closer look to see the work of the masters of the golden age of penmanship.
Good afternoon, my name is actually Rick Muffler. Richard sounds like parochial school where the nuns cracked my knuckles and I was always in trouble. And I'm left-handed. Anyway, I'm a 3-time president of IAMPETH and have been a calligrapher at the White House for 33 years. But I'm not here in either capacity. I'm here today as part of a lineage of penmen that celebrate with Mike Sull the dedication of this monument. As this monument serves as a testimony of Platt Rogers Spencer's enduring contributions to handwriting and art, let it serve as a reminder to those present, as well as those who we pass our knowledge on to, of our responsibilities to perpetuate the legacies we have been given. For a society that does not maintain their traditions become a group of people that has lost its identity and its soul. Thank you.
You know, I think it's particularly meaningful to have America's first monument to handwriting in the year 2012, 148 years after the death of Platt Rogers Spencer. And it's particularly meaningful today because in 2012, of course, the technology that has us all in rapture are digital devices, our smartphones and our tablets, and we use our human digits to thumb out text messages and to touch glass screens, which is all, of course, quite marvelous and quite wonderful and engaging, and sometimes maybe a little bit too engaging. We spend so much time with them. But I think that we're in danger of losing sight of our other human skills and our human heritage of handwriting, which, or upon which, literally all of our civilization depends. All of our civilization in books, in printing, started as handwriting. And handwriting, up until very recently, historically speaking, was about as important as something could be to someone. My grandfather, George W. Knock, was a penmanship instructor. He was born in 1898 and in 1922 enrolled at the Zahner-Bloser School to learn penmanship and to learn penmanship instruction. And he became an instructor in penmanship and also in typewriters at the high school level in Syracuse, New York. And today, handwriting seems, I would say to most people, almost irrelevant and almost a lost art. And the people of my generation, baby boomers, pretty consistently are embarrassed by their handwriting. And they know that their handwriting compares unfavorably to their parents and even more unfavorably to their grandparents. And it bothers us a little bit, and we're not quite sure about what to do about it. Does that mean we just avoid it entirely or do less of it? And I think, unfortunately, in a lot of cases that people do less of it, and they personally get into somewhat of a downward spiral of their not doing much handwriting and not getting much satisfaction from it and not experiencing the pleasures that it can give both the creator of the handwriting and the receiver of the handwriting. I think that will change. I think that technologies and handwriting, writing itself is a technology, handwriting is technology, and the Spencerian form of handwriting, which Spencer invented, and propagated in the United States was the foundation of all handwriting in the United States, was the truly, as Michael Sull explains, was the truly indigenous and truly American form of handwriting. And today we still all benefit from it and are descendants of it, even if we don't know his name and don't know exactly why, which is why Michael's work is so important. But I think that this technology, too, is in what I call its attic period right now. That is, it's sort of forgotten, it's up in the attic, but it's not gone. And I think it will be rediscovered. Fortunately, there are very talented trustees living today. Michael is one of the foremost, of course, who are keeping Spencerian script and American cursive handwriting alive and vibrant and passing it on to newcomers and young people. So the current trustees are taking good care of our indispensable handwriting heritage. And today's unveiling of the monument to Platt Rogers Spencer on August 24th, 2012, is a physical embodiment of that care that today's trustees are showing to handwriting. And there will come a time, some years from now, and I don't think that many years from now, when people will rediscover that their thumbs can do more than thumb a text message and their fingers can do more than tap on a glass screen, and realize that they can take their human digits and a pen and paper and create works of beautiful artistic creativity and satisfaction for themselves and for others. And just as other technologies have been thought to be obsolete and then come back, such as the bicycle, such as candles, such as hinged doors of all things, which were supposed to be replaced years ago with sliding doors, you know, the Buck Rogers style. None of this has happened, and these old technologies find their footing again and find their aficionados and then have a renaissance, and I think that will happen with handwriting. It's just a matter of time, and Michael Sull, more than anyone else I know, has kept the torch lit. And in honoring Platt Rogers Spencer here in Geneva and creating this monument and creating the enthusiasm behind recognizing this critical part of our American history, has kept the torch burning, and it will be rediscovered.
It's a magnificent monument, and it's the fruition of many labors that started over 100 years ago. We've really brought him back. He deserves a prominent place in America in terms of one of our pioneers of this country's development, of our strides towards literacy, and of really being a person who was very successful and very important in the education of our country. The monument itself is a limestone obelisk. At the base, we have a foundation that is approximately 1 foot high and about 4 feet in diameter. And then from there rises a limestone obelisk that's 30 inches in diameter on all 4 sides until it tapers gently to the peak, upon which is a 30-inch bronze sculpted quill. A quill feather which was, of course, symbolic of Platt Rogers Spencer, who always used a quill to do his writing. Spencer felt that because the quill came from the bird, and a bird, of course, was a creature of God, it was a way that he gave respect and homage to the fact that the inspiration of God in all of nature had everything to do with the fundamentals that he developed for this kind of handwriting.